Hi, everyone. My name is Beth Bucher. I'm one of the Rodan and Fields consultants under Janet Barros. I am coming to you today from my son's nursery. When you're under a stay-at-home order, you kind of got to make it work wherever you need to. And with a 4-year-old, a 2-month-old, and 2 dogs, and my husband all at home, it's not easy to find some quiet space to yourself. So, I am talking to you today about creating a schedule that works for you. So, one of the things, in my opinion, to keep in mind is the fact that a schedule is flexible, it's fluid. It does not have to be set in stone, which I know sounds a little counterintuitive for the whole idea of a schedule. But especially in these kind of times, what works for you on one given day may not work the next, and that's okay. It's important to give yourself the grace to have that acceptance from one day to the next. So the way we are kind of doing things at home, I'm actually on maternity leave, so there's been a lot of flexibility and differences going on in our lives right now. So one of the things that we're kind of doing in the morning is still trying to have a morning where we kind of get up and get moving, so to speak. So make our beds, take showers, get dressed, eat breakfast, and have some semblance of getting the day going. And those are things we try to do sometime before 8 and 9. Our daughter usually gets up around like 6:37, depending on the day. Having a 2-month-old, the mornings are just a little bit of chaos. But it does help to have some kind of like timing for that in the morning. Next, we try to have some kind of outdoor time. Here in Northeast Ohio, it's still relatively chilly. So the outdoor time may just be, 20 minutes, something along those lines, and that's okay. But one of the things I learned from my daughter's preschool teachers is that outdoor time, it really, really helps just to kind of reset yourself, I should say, get focused and be able to be productive. So that's one of the things that we try to do every day. And if we can't go outside for whatever reason, the weather's bad or whatever, something active indoor. So one of the things I love doing with my daughter, Go Noodle, it's a YouTube page. They have lots of like little activities for kids. There's like cosmic yoga for kids. There's a bunch of different yoga channels on there. There's all kinds of different activities, and just little sort of somewhat organized things that you can do, either yourself as an adult or certainly with your kids. Next thing we try to do with her is some kind of academic time where we don't use electronics. We use, books to sort of work on writing or work on something academic in nature. And we do this for as long as she's able to. Even though, her attention span at 4 is certainly not what it will be later on in life, or for some of you that have older kids, I think it's important to keep it fun at this point in time. Things are stressful enough and unpredictable enough that sort of forcing the issue or pushing it just kind of tends to backfire, in my opinion. And if you don't have kids and you're just kind of trying to come up with your own schedule, something academic works for you too. So maybe that's reading a book, listening to an educational podcast, doing one of the doing some kind of a puzzle or something of that nature. I mean, there are just so many free resources out there, that there is literally something for every age to kind of, get your mind moving and not turn to mush as it certainly could in this time where we could just kind of sit around and do nothing. So that's the next thing we sort of do in the morning. Last thing in the morning is some kind of creative time. So this is like painting, drawing, baking, anything in there. One of the things that I really enjoy doing with my daughter is cooking with her. And for any of you that follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I try to post a hashtag cooking with Natia, just to kind of keep it fun for her. So, if cooking's not your thing, baking's not your thing, something else creative, maybe one of those adult coloring books or something that just kind of lets you be free, lets you just, maybe not be inside the lines, so to speak, but do something a little bit more outside the box. Next we have lunch. And somewhere in there's definitely a snack in the morning. Next we have lunch, whatever that is, but definitely trying to keep it balanced still and not just eat junk food. And making sure that you're staying plenty hydrated throughout the day. That is really important. And I think it's one of the things that we really forget about, especially when the weather isn't nice or we don't necessarily feel thirsty. But it has a lot to do with our overall well-being and just feeling, able to kind of function during the day, mental focus, that kind of thing. So after lunch, usually try to do some kind of chores or tidying up. I'm not talking about like deep cleaning the house or anything crazy, but just something to sort of tidy up a little. So maybe that's, a load of laundry. Maybe it's just, wiping down the handles or the sort of the high traffic areas in the house with wipes or whatever works. But just something to sort of tidy up and improve your space. There's a lot of good data stating that when you're in, a space that you're happy with, you're comfortable with, that is sort of clean and organized, that it has a huge effect on your mental well-being. And I certainly can attest to this. I think that's really, really important. First thing in the afternoon, for my daughter and my son, we do a nap time because that is the point of sanity for all of us. So maybe that's nap time for you, that's fine. Maybe it's just some kind of quiet time, again, reading or doing something just sort of more quiet, more sedentary. Sometimes for myself, I try to do, a yin yoga or some kind of a relaxation yoga just to put myself together and put myself in a new frame of mind to sort of tackle the second half of the day. So that's something we work on in the afternoon. Next thing, again, a little bit of academic time. So this is a time when we are a little bit more fluid in terms of using electronics, doing ABC Mouse, something educational on YouTube. For us as adults, there's so many like virtual museum tours right now. Lots of other great things that can be found that are really, they stimulate you and they still make you feel like you're growing. There are plenty of colleges too that are doing like online courses. I've seen a couple places doing like Braille courses online. There's literally everything and anything you could want. It's just sort of a matter of finding it. And I think, if there's anything to be had from this time, it's that, having some kind of schedule and some kind of regularity is helpful, but also at the end of the day, being able to say, I accomplished X really makes a difference. And doing something even very simple, like learning about something new and is, that's you accomplishing something. That's you having a better feeling about yourself at the end of the day, and feeling, hey, today was something I was able to accomplish something today. Last thing, again, in the afternoon, sort of the last sort of structured thing is some kind of fresh air. Again, really important, at least for our family, to get outside, have some fresh air. Maybe it's brief, maybe it's not, just depending on the day, but some kind of fresh air. And if not, again, just something maybe a little bit physical in nature, just to kind of get the blood moving. We usually work on dinner sometime around like 5 to 6. That's just sort of what works for us. Trying to do something maybe a little bit more involved, maybe something that I don't have the time to do regularly. Make bread from scratch or do something, more lengthy in terms of time or anything else that I normally wouldn't be able to do when I'm, working full time as a nurse practitioner. Next thing is just sort of some free TV time, some free time to just kind of do what you want. So a lot of times for my daughter, it's, watching a Disney movie or just doing something, just a free time to just kind of let yourself zone out and let yourself just chill. It's definitely important. And just on cue, here comes my daughter. Lastly, we work on, a bedtime routine for them somewhere between 7 and 8. So baths and things like that. It's important to, get some kind of regular sleep, some kind of regular routine where you feel, that you're getting dressed and then you're getting changed back into your pajamas and that you're transitioning to that evening time. This again helps with sleep hygiene and other things that have a lot to do with keeping a healthy schedule and a healthy mental well-being, mental outlook. So I hope that I have given you guys some good tips and tricks and things to implement into a schedule, that will work for you and your family. Wishing you all, the absolute best during this crazy time. And I can't wait to see the beautiful skin that everybody comes out of this with. Take care all. Bye-bye.